Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in Brazil to attend the 19th G20 Leaders Summit in Rio de Janeiro. US President Joe Biden allows Ukraine to use US-supplied long-range missiles for strikes inside Russia. Hezbollah media chief killed in Israeli airstrike in central Beirut. And in sports, world number 1 Yannick Sinner beats Taylor Fritz to win the ATP Finals Title. So after concluding his successful Nigeria visit, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Brazil to attend the 19th G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro. PM Modi in a social media post said, and I quote him, "I look forward to the summit deliberations and fruitful talks with various world leaders," unquote. PM Modi received a rousing welcome upon his arrival at the hotel. People from Indian community warmly welcomed PM Modi amid chants. And Prime Minister Modi was greeted by the song and dance of his home state Gujarat. DD India's Gautam Roy spoke with the women who performed Garba and Dandiya to welcome PM Modi in Brazil. Take a look.
A vibrant and energetic performance of Garba and Dandiya also greeted India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi when he arrived in Rio at his place of stay to attend the G20 summit. We have some of the performers.
We performed Garba Ras for PM Modi ji on the guidance of our teacher Gyaneshri ji, who's from Sao Paulo, and we are from Rio. So we connected on internet, on Zoom calls and WhatsApp calls. We've been practicing, and she's been sending us videos of how to do the dance. And we finally met yesterday for the first time, and we practiced here in first meeting. So PM sir was also very impressed that we made good use of technology, and we made this performance a success.
What did the Prime Minister say to you when he finally saw this performance?
He was very, very, very happy, and for us it's a big present for being a performer. So I would really thank that he patiently watched our complete performance.
It's very, very special for us. Yeah, we are so happy, very happy.
How did you encourage her to do this? Your husband, I presume.
As an Indian, we always support our wife. That's what we learn from our seniors, our parents, and all. That is how we are doing.
Well, they say that music and dance is a true expression of joy or sorrow. In this case, it is joy. Immeasurable joy as far as the Indian diaspora in Brazil is concerned, because they've met the Prime Minister here on his visit to Rio for the G20 summit. And well, the expression, of course, is that this is a successful visit, and the leaders too of the G20 come to these positions on tractious global issues that will take the world forward. With camera person Loknath, Gautam Roy, Rio, Brazil, DD India.
And DD India's Gautam Roy spoke to the children of Indian community who welcomed PM Modi by singing India's national song, Vande Mataram.
Among the performances that greeted Prime Minister Modi when he arrived in Rio to attend the G20 summit was a performance of Vande Mataram, and there were a lot of children, little ladies if I could say, in that group as well. Let's talk to some of them. How did you prepare for this song? Was it difficult? Was it easy? Were you nervous before the Prime Minister or excited?
Yes, but it's very easy and very excited.
And did he say something to you?
He said very good beta. Like, it was very special for so many days. It took a long time to meet him. It was our first time to meet.
I sang Vande Mataram, and the meaning of Vande Mataram is I bow to my Mother Earth.
PM also speak to you and appreciate your performance?
Yes,
What kind of hard work did you put in for it?
like singing for him.
Good, great. That's wonderful. So there you have it. A lot of different efforts made to ensure that Prime Minister Modi, when he lands in Rio, is greeted by all the enthusiasm that a very small diaspora really here in Brazil, about 4,000 strong, can muster for him, and put the path forward for him to lead not just the nation but the entire world as far as the G20 summit is concerned to success on various challenging fronts. With camera person Loknath, this is Gautam Roy in Rio, Brazil, DD India.
And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi was also greeted by members of the Indian diaspora from different businesses and professions when he reached Rio. Gautam Roy spoke to some of them about how they have been contributing to better trade and other ties between India and Brazil.
A segment of Indians who have settled in Brazil and are in different professions or even in businesses also greeted Prime Minister Narendra Modi when he landed in Rio for the G20 summit, and we have some of them with us. What does it really mean, this particular stream of activity that you're in business or profession for this country, Brazil, that you're contributing to?
So company has done more than 2.5 billion investments as a group, Indorama Ventures and my colleague and Indorama Corporation. So company has already have more than 3,000 employees here and making significant investments, and we are keep looking for acquisitions. Company grew very fast in last 5 years, and we have a great hope.
What sort of meaning does it hold for people here in Brazil and also for India?
I think this visit of Modi ji, it was when he shook hands with all of us, it was mesmerizing. I think the feeling which you get, the goosebumps which you get inside is amazing, He has an electrifying aura, I think, and a personality. Probably looks much more younger what he looks on the TV, So at his age, 74, I only wish that Modi ji continues, running our country, making us all proud, and we continue being, growing under his leadership. And I'll say a few words in Hindi कि भगवान हमारी उम्र भी उनको लगाए ताकि वो और अच्छे रहे, स्वस्थ रहें और हमारे देश का नाम रोशन करते रहें.
How are you contributing to not just Brazil's progress, because you are here now, but to India's as well?
Card Limited, which manufacture human insulin. We are globally #1 in the human insulin supply, and recently we have made a tie-up with Ministry of Health of Brazil to make a technology transfer for human insulin from India to here to manufacture and support the Brazilian government and the local supply of to the patients at the affordable cost and being one of the quality products from India. And we are really proud of Modi ji for making India at the highest level, and we are zeal and enthusiastic to support and getting a government support to have a good negotiation with the Brazilian government. And India being a pharmacy capital of the world, that shows that how the Modi ji has made us so proud.
Tell us about your experience as well of greeting Prime Minister Modi and what that experience meant for you as a professional.
We are here experiencing, like I said, goosebumps, and we are meeting for the first time to him. And it was like a heavenly feeling seeing him here in person and feeling him as a persona, the energy was so great here with our Indian community and welcoming him into Brazil.
Thank you, thank you. So that's the sentiment really here, even among the Indian community that is settled in Brazil, contributing very, very fruitfully, meaningfully to Brazilian society and its economy. And they have, of course, the wish to take it forward as well, along with the Indian government and further strengthen relations with Brazil. With camera person Loknath, Gautam Roy, Rio, Brazil, DD India.
And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi was deeply touched after receiving the warmest welcome at Hotel Nacional in Rio de Janeiro. As Prime Minister stepped off the plane and made his way through the hotel, he was greeted by an outpouring of love and affection from many of members of the Indian community, who had gathered to show their pride and admiration for the leader of their homeland. On social media platform X, Prime Minister said, and I quote, "Deeply touched by the warm and lively welcome from the Indian community upon arriving in Rio de Janeiro, the energy reflects the affection that binds us across continents," unquote. And the 19 heads of state and government summit of the Group of 20 will take place on November 18 and 19 in Brazil's Rio de Janeiro. The Leaders Summit is the climax of the G20 process and work carried out over the year through ministerial meetings, working groups and engagement groups. The G20 adopts a leaders' declaration at the conclusion of the summit that states leaders' commitment towards the priorities discussed and agreed upon during the ministerial and working group meetings. The theme of Brazil's G20 presidency, building a just world and a sustainable planet, strongly aligns with the priorities that India advanced in 2023. Brazil is expected to maintain the focus on Global South priorities, ensuring continuity and progress on key issues. As a Troika member, India will play a significant role in shaping the agenda, building on the momentum from its own G20 presidency. It will be the first full G20 summit with the African Union as a member, having joined during the G20 summit in New Delhi last year. And the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has issued a stark call to action, urging G20 nations to wield their influence in addressing critical global crises. Speaking from Rio de Janeiro on Sunday, he urged G20 nations to wield their unparalleled influence to address urgent global challenges. He stressed the urgency of climate action, warning of catastrophic consequences if major economies fail to act. He also emphasized the need for peace in Gaza, Ukraine and Sudan.
And I have come to Rio with a simple message. G20 leaders must lead. And G20 countries, by definition, have tremendous economic clout and they yield massive diplomatic leverage. They must use it to tackle key global problems.
And heads of state keep arriving in Rio de Janeiro for the Leaders Summit, and arrivals included French President Emmanuel Macron, Chinese President Xi Jinping, Argentine President Javier Milei, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and Chilean President Gabriel Boric. Brazil has deployed troops, armoured vehicles and naval ships to reinforce security around the summit of leaders from the Group of 20. And US President Joe Biden also arrived in Rio de Janeiro on Sunday for the G20 summit, while the COP29 summit in Baku, Azerbaijan, is tasked with agreeing a goal to mobilize hundreds of billions of dollars for climate. Leaders of the Group of 20 major economies, half a world way in Rio, are holding the purse strings. G20 countries account for 85% of the world's economy and are the largest contributors to multilateral development banks helping to steer climate finance. And United States President Joe Biden's administration for the first time permitted Ukraine to use the US-supplied long-range missile for striking inside Russia. With 2 months left in office, the US President has authorized the Ukrainian military to use the system known as ATACMS to help defend its forces in the Kursk region of Russia. The development marked a significant change in the policy of the United States in Russia-Ukraine conflict. The weapons are likely to be used in the response to North Korea's decision to send thousands of troops to Russia in support of Russia's war against Ukraine. Ukraine plans to conduct its first long-range attacks in the coming days without revealing details due to operational security concerns. And for months, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has been urging that the restrictions on the missiles be lifted, allowing Kiev to strike outside its own borders. On Sunday, Zelensky reacted to the reports, saying such things are not announced. Missiles speak for themselves.
Today there's a lot of talk in the media about us receiving permission for respective actions, but strikes are not carried out with words. Such things are not announced. Missiles will speak for themselves. They certainly will. Glory to Ukraine.
And Russia has carried out its largest air attack on Ukraine in months, launching missiles and drones that killed several people and caused severe damage to the power system. A Russian missile strike killed 10 people in the northeastern Ukraine city of Sumy on Sunday after the country suffered a massive attack a night before. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the initial attack on Telegram. The Ukrainian Presidential Services released a video that showed emergency services at the scene tackling a fire near a residential building. The attack on Sumy followed a large-scale attack on energy infrastructure across Ukraine with 120 missiles and 90 drones that killed several people. Following the attack, Ukraine announced it would be introducing nationwide emergency power restrictions on Monday. And United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said during a press conference in G20, a permanent escalation must be avoided in Ukraine. Guterres' statement came after Joe Biden's administration has allowed Ukraine to use US-made weapons to strike deep into Russia.
And progress on poverty and hunger.
Firstly, our position has been very clear regarding the needs to avoid a permanent escalation of the Ukraine war. We want peace, but we want peace with justice, in line with the resolutions of the General Assembly, with the Charter of the United Nations, and with international law.
Alright, still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Campaigning for assembly elections in India's Jharkhand and Maharashtra to end today, polling to be held on November 20th. Owing to hazardous pollution levels in the city, Delhi government announced the discontinuation of the physical classes for all students except class 10 and 12. And the portals of Badrinath Shrine closed for winter, and with this year's Char Dham Yatra also comes to an end.
G20 meeting taking place in Rio on the 18th and 19th of this month. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be participating here as well, along with the leaders of the world's 20 largest economies, who will be deliberating on key issues such as eliminating hunger and poverty, sustainable development. For all the latest on the 2024 G20 summit in Rio, join me, Gautam Roy, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Hezbollah has confirmed the death of its media relations chief Mohammad Afif in an Israeli strike on Sunday in central Beirut. Israel has rarely hit senior Hezbollah personnel who do not have clear military roles, and its airstrikes have mostly targeted Beirut's southern suburbs, where the group has its heaviest presence. Israel's military, which earlier declined to comment, issued a statement late on Sunday reporting it had eliminated Afif. The Lebanese Health Ministry said that the strike had killed 1 and injured 3. A second separate strike later on Sunday hit Mar Elia Street, another central area, killing at least 2 people and injuring 22 others. Schools and higher educational institutions in Beirut and surrounding areas have also been shut to exercise caution. And US President-elect Donald Trump continues to nominate allies for his new White House team. Trump tapped Republican Brendan Carr as the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission. Trump, in a statement on Sunday, called Carr a warrior for free speech. Carr first joined the FCC in 2012. In 2017, during his first term as president, Trump appointed him as one of the agency's commissioners. Carr had previously worked as a lawyer specializing in regulatory issues. Now, Super Typhoon has made second landfall on the Philippines' main island of Luzon, with forecasters warning of life-threatening storm surge, heavy rains and severe winds. More than 1 million people have been ordered to evacuate since warnings were first issued. Man-E is the 6th typhoon to hit the Philippines in a month, with at least 160 people known to have died in the 5 previous storms. It uprooted trees, brought down power lines, crushed wooden houses and triggered landslides, but did not cause serious flooding. The Super Typhoon already ripped through Catanduanes, where it uprooted trees, damaged some buildings and pulled down power lines. Earlier on Sunday, dozens of flights were cancelled due to incoming storm. Man-E weakened significantly as it traversed the mountains of Luzon and was downgraded to a severe tropical storm as it swept over the South China Sea towards Vietnam on Monday. And the new cabinet of ministers of National People's Power government was sworn in before President Anura Kumara Dissanayake. The swearing-in ceremony was held at the Presidential Secretariat in Colombo on Monday. Including the Prime Minister, while the new deputy ministers will be appointed later on. The 10th Parliament of Sri Lanka has more than 175 members who have been elected to Parliament for the very first time. The ruling National People's Power Alliance won a landslide at the parliamentary election, winning 159 out of 225 seats, increasing their tally from 3 seats. Earlier in September, NPP leader Anura Kumara Dissanayake won the presidential election, riding on an anti-corruption and economic reforms campaign. A high-level meeting on Nepal-India border security coordination has kicked off in Kathmandu and will continue till Monday. Cross-border crime control and control on illegal entry of third country nationals is being discussed in the meeting. Proposals have been tabled from the Nepali side on crime control in border areas, control of revenue leakage, illegal drug trafficking and human trafficking, as well as the control of illegal entry of citizens of third countries. A 6-member Indian delegation was led by Director General of India's SSB, Amrit Mohan Prasad, lead with a Nepali delegation that comprises of high-level security officials. Indian delegation called on Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak in Singh Darbar on Sunday. Minister of Home Affairs Lekhak highlighted the importance of ensuring that citizens crossing borders should be treated with respect and dignity. Updates on state assembly elections now. Campaigning for the second and final phase in East India's Jharkhand will end on Monday evening. 38 constituencies will go to polls in this phase on November 20th. Campaigning will also end today for the single phase of polling in Maharashtra. Voters in the West Indian state will exercise their franchise in a single phase polling on Wednesday. Counting for both Jharkhand and Maharashtra will be held on November 23rd. Results are also expected to be declared on the same day. And with pollution reaching alarming levels, the Centre's panel monitoring Delhi NCR air quality has announced to impose Stage 4 restrictions and a graded response action plan from Monday. The air quality in the capital remained in the severe category for the past few days, despite restrictions under GRAP, prompting authorities to impose stringent anti-pollution measures. The new set of restrictions would come into force from 8 a.m. on Monday. The restrictions under the GRAP 4 include stop entry of truck traffic into Delhi except for trucks carrying essentials. Do not permit LCVs registered outside Delhi other than EVs, CNG, BS6 diesel to enter Delhi. Enforce strict ban on plying of Delhi registered BS4 and below diesel operated medium goods vehicles and heavy goods vehicles in Delhi except those carrying essential commodities. Banning of construction and demolition activities as in the GRAP Stage 3 also for linear public projects such as highways, roads, flyovers, overbridges, power transmission pipelines, telecommunication, etc. NCR State Government GNCTD to take a decision on allowing public, municipal and private offices to work on 50% strength and the rest to work from home. Central Government may take appropriate decision on permitting work from home for employees in central government offices. Children, elderly and those with respiratory, cardiovascular, cerebrovascular or other chronic diseases to avoid outdoor activities and stay indoors as much as possible. In Delhi, Chief Minister Atishi on Sunday announced the discontinuation of the physical classes for all students except class 10 and 12. The development comes hours after Delhi's air quality deteriorated further to severe plus, prompting the authorities to impose graph 4 restrictions in the national capital. The CAQM suggested online teaching for the students of classes 6 to 9 and 11. And the doors of Sri Badrinath Dham, located in northern state of Uttarakhand, have been closed for winters on Sunday. With the closing of the doors of Badrinath, this year's Char Dham Yatra has also come to an end. Sports now. We'll start with tennis. Home favourite and world number 1 Yannick Sinner became the first Italian to win the ATP Finals title following a dominant 6-4, 6-4 victory over American Taylor Fritz on Sunday. Sinner lost the last year's final to Novak Djokovic. However, he did not put a foot wrong this time around as he finished undefeated and without dropping a set to earn the title. In a rematch of this year's US Open final, the 23-year-old Sinner broke Fritz's serve with a fine drop shot to take a 4-3 lead before notching the opener with his 10th ace in the match. Fritz is the first American finalist since 2006, but his stellar performance also had a dropped serve in the second set, which allowed the Italian to seal the contest in an hour and 25 minutes. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.